Welcome back to K-Tech Solutions interactive video sessions on learning how to use TILOS. In today's session, we are going to see about how to import activities or a group of activities along with the relationships inside TILOS. And also we are going to see how to import a schedule from Primavera P6 and what are the constraints which are associated with it. So for now, we want to see how to go about and import set of group of activities in TILOS from an Excel sheet. For that, first we need a populated group of data from Excel itself. So as you can see, this is a typical schedule which has been prepared with the basic details of what is available in Microsoft Excel and which we want to import it inside of TILOS. So you can see what are the various items available. You can see there is an activity ID, there is an activity template name, there is a name of the activity type like normal activities, it is summary activities, a hammock activity, start and end milestone. We have curated this example to have one of each. Normally we will always go about as normal activities. We have the start date and the duration, which automatically means that the end date will be calculated by TILOS. Also we have the start distance and end distance, and the length will be calculated. There is also details for quantity factor if you are going to have. So these are just examples which are also additional features which will be used by some projects, but you can select whatever is applicable to your end. So it does not have to be mandatory of the other items apart after the end distance factor. So the quantity factor, what is the unit of measurement, work rate, quantities if you have any quantity for it, what is the set of quantity by if you want to calculate by length, input field, how do you calculate this? So do you want to calculate the duration from the quantity and work rate, or you want to calculate the work rate from work rate and quantity so that the other item, and there is a parent ID. Here you can notice that only the activity details are available and the links are available in another sheet. The reason for the links being in another sheet is TILOS always allows us to import data from Excel in two different formats. So first is for the activity and the link. So this we have to. So in the link sheet you can see what is the predecessor's activity ID, because it is the most short way of doing the linking of activities, because you might by chance rename or name two activities with the same name, or it can have very minute spelling errors which will have an issue. So always opt for going with the activity ID so that the predecessor and successor activity IDs are unique and it is a very accurate way of mapping the activities. Next you have the link type, start to start, finish to finish, etc. based on if you have any time lag, and also the lag time unit. So it is all taken as days in 8 hours. This can also be defined at a later stage inside of TILOS, but however, if you are confident enough with the data, or if you're having a uniform set of data in terms of lag time unit, you can use. Also, you can add or calculate a lag by how many factors. If you have any distance lag, and what is the distance unit, and also this is a normal lag and time lag if you are going to operate. So these are the data which we are going to take inside of TILOS. So you can also use the same set of format, or you can export the same schedule prepared in TILOS and take it into Excel and use that as a template for you to fill data. Now going back into TILOS and Excel has a very user-friendly API where the data can be easily taken inside without much difficulty. So how do we do it? You go and click on File button in the menu bar. Under File, you will select the Import option. So click on Import option, and under this you have various options like Microsoft Project XML file, a Primavera P6, an XML data file from a previous version of TILOS, or Asta Power Project, MS Project, etc. Next is the plain data text. Then also you have Microsoft Excel data exchange, which is nothing but the XLS. So for us, what we will use is we will use the plain data text, because any data which has been copied from Excel can be directly taken. Yes, you can also use a Microsoft Excel, but it is a little more complicated, and it is very simple and easier for us to go with the plain data text. For going into plain data text, first we have to select all the items which we need to be imported inside of TILOS and copy it. So right click and copy. So you can see that immediately once I have copied, the clipboard data is available in the form of a dotted line which is moving around. Now we will come back to this and we can select that plain data text. Press on the next button and you can select an option, either file or a clipboard. If you select the clipboard, you can see that the preview is not available. This is because you should always ensure that you are copying the file, then coming back into TILOS. So you can right click and you can copy. Come back to TILOS, press File, Import, select on plain data text and press next. In clipboard, now you can see all the activity, whatever data you have copied in Excel is available here. So the first is activity identifier, just to be sure. Next, in next you can select a new profile and you can start adding. So here I have already selected that a new profile, and you can the drop down you can see there are no options available. So select a new profile, a new exchange profile is created, then press edit. So once you press edit, under this you can see that you have to give a name for it. So let us put activities. Next, under once the name is defined, you can see that there are options for activities. Ensure that the activity bar is selected, then select on activities and double click on the plan resource. So here you can see that you get a column adder or a column identifier where you can add all the set of data which you need to bring in from Excel. So for now what we will add is you have activity identifier. Next you can select on this and you can select for template activity template name. So you can either scroll down and you can see that only various set of items are available, and you can select any of the options from that. So next is the activity ID, activity template name, and so forth. So you can add any of the data which you wanted to add from this, or you can also double click on the activity name itself and you get all the other. So activity template name is the second column. Third is the name. You can also type and you will get the name. You can either double click here to bring this in, or you can also use the arrow button which will bring it in. The next is the activity type. So on the top you can select activity type and you can add. So please ensure that the order is matching to what it is being available in your Excel sheet as well, because TILOS will directly import the data in relation in the same order. So we are having activity identifier here. Some of you might want to add the name as the second column. If you're adding name as the second column, name should be in the second order. So you can select on name, you can move it up and you can move it down. You can see the order should be matched. So next is activity type, then you can press start date. Next you have the duration. So again you can type duration, start distance. Be very careful with start distance, lag, start distance, and start distance. And next you have end distance. For this example, I'm just stopping with end distance. And what I'm going to do is press OK. And here I'm going to select one very important thing is our date format. This is the default date format which TILOS uses. In the example, we have specifically made a different date format because if there is going to be any issues, mostly it will be from the date. So that is why we have shown a different example where the errors will come. So here we have month, date, and the year. So follow the same format which you are using. So it will become month dot date dot year, and you can select on OK. So once it is done, you can press finish, and you can see that the task or the activity has been created. Total 20, it is completed, and all the activities have already been populated inside of TILOS directly from the Excel sheet. But you can see that the activities are not available in full. So that reason is because the time frame. The time frame selected in this project is somewhere between September or August 2000. September 2020-22 to somewhere in 2020-23. So how do we change it? Select on the middle of the screen. At the bottom, you can see that the date is from 1/4/2022 to 31/12. So this you can change at any point of time. Select from here. So let's select from 1st of August 2022 to 2023 May 31st. You can see that all the activities which we have imported have been taken from the Excel sheet and it has been brought inside. Now next we are going to import the links. Under links you have to take all the items which is similar. We will select copy or right click and copy, then go back and import again. So repeat the same procedure. Plain data text you will select again, press next. Under the clipboard you can see now the predecessor activity ID from the copy paste option is available in the clipboard. Press on next. You will create one more new profile. So under new profile here, ensure that the name is identified correctly, because when you are going to select it in future, you are going to completely add it. One time the exchange profile is created, will be available forever. So now here we will select the link and you can double click on the links. In this you can see that predecessor activity ID and successor activity ID is available. Now you have to select the link type. So double click on the link type. Next you have the lag. Next you have the lag time unit. Sorry, lag, lag time unit. Next you have calculate lag by, so you have calculate lag by, and you have distance lag. Next is the distance unit. So distance lag unit or the distance unit is the same. Then you have the time lag unit. So the time lag is also available. So all the 9 columns are added. I'm pressing OK. Here the date format does not matter because we are not importing any date. I'm pressing OK and I'm pressing the finish option. You can see that a link has been created. Also you can see the link has been imported from the activities. If I go to the display option and toggle between the links, you can see here the links have also been populated. How do we check all the items are available? We will go to the left TILOS Explorer task list. You can see all the activities have been exported inside, and if you move to the Gantt chart, this Gantt schedule, you can also see that the Gantt schedule is available for all the activities, including the links have been imported. So in this manner, we will quickly import any sort of activity or set of activities from Excel along with the links. So this is the way in which you can cross-check the same as well. Now the next option is if we want to import a P6 schedule inside it. How do you bring a P6 schedule inside? So for this example, I'm going to create a new file under General, press OK. Always when you are importing a new file from P6, be very careful on what the data you are going to do. So P6 file. This P6 file is a very old file from 2010. So I'm selecting 1st of January 2010 to 2018, 31st of December 2018, and I'm going to select the activity as same 4024 kilometers, and I'm going to press apply. So ensure that you are selecting the same in one of your documents folder and you save it. So you can see that a common or a very conventional time distance diagram is available. The reason why we have made a new file is that I wanted to show you what are the limitations you have in importing a P6 file. So again, what we are going to do is file, import. It is relatively a very simple process where you can import Primavera P6, press next, the file option. I have already a selected file which I have taken here for this example now. So you can either use the same file or you have any other file which is available with yourself is also okay. So I'm going to put as so we can see there is a trial file available. The format is P6 Exchange XML. Press open, press next. Select all the WBS data, import links, cost allocations. Under import activity templates, this is the problem we will have. There are no activity templates available in P6, so you have to have a user-defined field where you can change the name. This has already been done, so I'm selecting all the user-defined fields and I'm pressing finish. So once you finish, you can see this is the manner in which every activity from P6 will be imported inside. The reason being is that there is no chainage detail available in P6 or a conventional tool like how we had it in our distance profile. So here you are having these two factors, the start distance and end distance, which can be brought in from UDF from Primavera P6. Also, the next important thing is this activity template name. As we saw earlier, the activity template name is very important because they define what are the different types of activity we are using and the color, what are the shape, etc. can be defined. So if we go to the activity list, you can see that the entire schedule has been imported, but the problem is the display type and color has not been imported from Primavera P6 because they do not have. So if you are moving any file from Primavera P6, you have to manually change all these details in TILOS, so which is a time-taking way. So this is the reason why what we normally do is you can always move or import the file into an Excel sheet and you can add this data, which is very quick to make these changes in Excel, and then you can import this file back into TILOS and you get all the other details and other works in a very fast and efficient manner. So that is all for today's session. Thank you.